up, everybody? It's your boy Heems, and guys, we are back with another reaction video. Today, guys, we're about to check out, this has been the talk for the past few days, and it is, of course, you already know, the controversial interview with Micheal B. Jordan, and the person that was recording him or interviewing him was basically a person that went with him at high school at one point and basically called him corny, you know, the whole thing. And he basically has his revenge, so to speak, or basically kind of a sneak diss sort of will, like just as a payback to say like, hey, yeah, remember when you called me this and all that. And actually, yeah, did the interview like that. So guys, we're going to check that out, and then guys, I'm going to give my critique or what I think on it. But before we go further, guys, make sure you hit that like button for your boy. Don't forget to subscribe to your boy at Heemscast Gaming. Share the video, share the channel, raid, host. To anybody want to catch me stream, I stream Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern with late starts between 6:15 and 6:30 p.m. and also 7. Weekends are open schedule, so anything goes. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Trovo, and D Live. I stream on all 5 platforms at the exact same time. Reaction videos are as early as 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. with a minimum of 1 to 2 videos at a time to 5 or 6 depending on your boy's work schedule. The grind is real for your boy, so your boy is working between 6 to 8 days a week, including pickups and overtime. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and Snapchat, and the YouTube community, so that I can update you guys day by day and let you know what happens per day with both our streaming schedule, our reactions, and so forth. Make sure you drop those suggestions in the comments below, or go to heemscastgamingyt@gmail.com. Without further ado, let's check this video out. And also, real quick, guys, I want to throw this in here. You may notice that I may either make alterations to the sound quality of the video that we're reacting to, as well as the visual, just so that, guys, we can avoid any kind of monetization or anything else of the sort. So to anybody, I always try to make sure to include the original article, the original video within the description, so to anybody that actually wants to watch it from start to finish, you could definitely go ahead and check it there, guys. But let's go ahead and check this bad boy out.
So, Shell, we got Micheal B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And, you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
I did not say that.
Now, if you notice already, now, two things is kind of funny. The dude in the back corner with the big burly dude and stuff, he's sitting there looking at the interview in a funny way. But then you see, even just from the jump, as soon as the interview started, like, he's looking at her, he's kind of examining her. And I think even at that point, if not already before the interview, but he was putting 2 and 2 together of who she was. And it's kind of one of those things of like, when you've been in situations like that where you kind of bully, and it's like you basically are in front of either your bullier, and maybe that's a heavy word, but basically anybody in this case, they either had talked down to you or overlooked you. And depending on how you interpreted that or how you took it, you know, and you meet this person, depending on how much of a length of time, it's definitely, you can feel that energy, you can feel that vibe just from the way that he is looking at her.
It's quoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say I said
and the fact that he said that, like, yeah, you the corny, and it's like, it's that moment where, you know, you have to be professional, but then it's like, it's like you're trying to do like a micro diffusion of the situation right then and there as it's taking place. Like, on one hand, I like Micheal B. Jordan for how he handled it and the way he did it in a way where it was like he still kept it cool, but like he ain't go out and be like, yo, man, like, you know, yeah, I remember you F and, you know, or, you know, F, none of that stuff. Her, for herself, she tried to maintain her composure throughout that interview and like, oh, I didn't say, or let's continue.
You used to make fun of the name, but yeah,
he said, "What's up?" He was like, "What's up?"
Killing things out here. How was the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that you were directed with versus?
It was awesome. You know, it's a family vibe. Yeah. Last nine years of my life, I spent on the Creed films.
Hey, you see how he had to dig in right there. He had to sit here, put in the amount of time to kind of basically restate what he's been doing as far as like with his life and his projects.
They're very supportive, you know, Tessa, Felicia.
Support.
There's people that see me grow up. And for the fact that I sat behind the camera and finally got a chance to direct them, they loved it, they embraced it, and it was a wonderful experience.
And was it difficult for you mentally because you're coming out of a different space?
I didn't know he was doing the athletic.
Hey, now see how he did. He sat there and he did it like that. Hey, he just
Go
cut.
off right here. Who's the sexiest man? Because now let's.
Hey, he sat there and tried to cut. That's funny how Michael B. Jordan just sat there and did it. You know, it's like his arm gestures and everything. Like he's basically like guarded. It's basically like a sense of like he doesn't really like. He's protecting himself. He don't really care. He's still trying to like in a way do the interview since he's already there. Because at the end of the day, when you're an icon, when you're somebody that people pay attention to, you have to present yourself in any situation as professional as best as you can. It doesn't matter the drama. It doesn't matter the naysay, the digs. Had he came across any other way, that could have worked badly against him. And I like how he just sat there. But then you see what she tried to do right there. She tried to shift it. One minute she was like, oh, sexy man, you know, and then it's like, oh, it's kind of like to try to take away that bit of exposure and power if, you know, since Jonathan Majors basically stepped into the set.
Sexiest man, because I thought you said you're on the way up. He might be the one right now.
This is the one. This is the one right here.
Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping on that, but it's like, okay, you know, it's, oh, I heard you stepping on your way up, and well, he's the man now, but it's like as if you, in a subtle way, it's like you're trying to say like, oh, well, he won't be at the top forever, so you might be. And honestly though, Jonathan Majors, people have been making a lot of talks about him, like he's been in like a Men's Health, you know, having that jack physique and stuff, and so he's been the talk of the town just as much as Michael B. Jordan has in the past.
So is it a tie?
Ain't no tie. We don't compete. Yeah, we don't compete.
Two number ones. Batman and Batman. Oh no, can't say that. Superman and Superman, sorry.
Good luck with that.
Oh, hey, now to everybody that peeped that, now if you remember, there was talks of Michael B. Jordan being a Superman, so the fact that they brought that up, that was a nice little homage.
Okay, so you also are going
He got the
to
rock
do a
eyebrow
show with
going.
Will Smith very soon coming up. Is the rumor out there?
Not sure. We're still working on the script. You know, that's something that I plan on doing in the future. Not sure when. You know, with these movies, I'm just trying to get through this project.
Right,
You know, so when I get finished with this one, then I'll figure out what's going on next.
And how is it filming in Atlanta?
It was amazing. I've done 4 or 5 films down here, shot a couple television shows, so Atlanta's a second home to me, and I love coming down here to shoot.
Favorite restaurant here?
Oh, man. Whatever hotel I'm in, their restaurant.
You're not corny anymore.
Now, why you had to say now? Okay, now even saying that, like, why you had to say that now? So it's like, I don't know. For me, it's like, okay, you first you denied that you called him corny, or you're like, no, I didn't. But then it's like, okay, well, you're not corny anymore. So you clearly recognize who he is and who he became. It's definitely refreshing watching this interview. You know, it's just one of those things of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if I'm not mistaken, there was a follow-up interview, and I don't know if it necessarily was in fact her, but somebody grilled him as far as like with his preferences in the dating world. And it's just one of those situations where it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, you're just going to have to basically just live your life to the fullest and live it to the best way that you possibly can. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you know, you're not trying to trample over people intentionally to get to where you need to be, you're not physically causing bodily harm or disturbing anybody's life in any way, then live your life. Live your life to the fullest, the best way you can. The problem with a lot of people is that, you know, nobody really lives or enjoys their life. You know, they live under this margin or what is considered the quote unquote the norm, and that's, you know, misconstrued and has always been, you know, thrown around differently. It kind of brings me back to like, I remember one time, I can remember a lot of times, but just something like, nah, I've been through bullying in and out of my life, both from being in school to even workplace bullying. My parents raised me, both my mother and my father. And honestly, I gotta say that they did a good job because I've never had a record. I never been in a situation. It ain't wood, but we're gonna knock on it. To where, you know, like I've either, you know, gotten into some kind of major trouble or major situations. And it's because of them that I actually was able to, graduate from college with a computer networking applications degree. I was able to land a good job. I've been fortunate enough and blessed to work there for 10 years. I'm redigging and actually being able to be in my dreams and my hobbies of video gaming and still to have that after all these years. And I look back, sometimes and you look at the people you grew up with, you look at your friends or even just more or less like associates that you grew up with, like either back in high school, and you look at where they are now. Some of the people that I've known has either passed away from the lifestyles and stuff that they been through. Others were in jail, or you just have people that are living the monotonous or the mundane, just the routine of just trying to survive. And I think that's everybody in general. So I don't want even for what that being said to be misconstrued or to be misdirected or anything. At the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. It's nothing wrong with working a job to obtain yourself. And at the same time, there are other aspects of your life that we all, I think, while you're alive and you have that opportunity, you should take it to try to explore and further enrich your life, to further enrich your experiences in your own way and in your own right. And to do that while you still have time in this world and in this life. I can't tell you how many times I've been called and it just resonates with me because I've been called lame before. I've been called everything from under the sun to my hairstyle, people questioning my preferences as far as with who I date, my sexuality, all types of stuff. I remember actually when I was at a previous job, I came in the door and I came in very professional, and already you would think based off of where I worked, everybody was basically related to me, or it was majority of black people that was working at that job. You would have thought that it would have been a little bit more better, or you thought it would have been more fair, but it wasn't. Truth be told, I was getting jabbed and digged at every chance I got there. I remember even one time, they asked me to come in on a shift when it was my day off, and I said no, and people gave me gripe about that. Nobody wanted to show me how to really do the job. They just wrote me off that I just was incapable of doing this job. And it even got to a point where I remember one day I was working a register, and at one point it was $70 that was missing from the register. And the reason for that was because we had a customer come in. She had a black eye, and she just was going around just making a bunch of purchases and grabbing stuff. So then it was funny at the end when she looked at how much she owed. She was like, oh my God, I must have got hit hard to, make this purchase. So she didn't do it. So when you put everything through the register and stuff, it's going to come up that your register is $70 short. But then that night, when the manager had sat there and pulled my register, it came up $170 short. So I remember he was just making a big rant about it. I'm freaking out. This never happened to me before. This has never happened. And so at one point, I'm even going home to my mom. I'm freaking out because he was like, oh, I don't know, because this could appear in court. I've never, what the hell? I go home, I go back the next day, and he says, you know what? We found the money. And I was like, well, how did you do that? Don't worry about it. Red flag, crimson. Same manager had an incident where it was my last bit of the shift. And so I just needed 10 cents. Otherwise my thing was going to be 10 cents short. Now, if it's 10 cents, little stuff, either 10 cents over, 40 cents over, that's cool. But anything that's like 20, 30, and $100, you got a problem in your register. So I looked at my manager. He was standing right behind me before he sat there and actually ready to cash me out. And I was like, I'm 10 cents short. He was like, why are you 10 cents shorts, Raheem? I'm like, man, at this point, I'm like, I just am. So I give her an extra 20 cents. I didn't even care that my thing was over or short at that point. So he takes me to the office and he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, how long you been here? About 6 months. I just don't know. You either going to understand this or you're going to get it, or, as if blah, blah, blah. And me, I'm not a person that if you snap on me, and that's through just my personality as well as being in martial arts and discipline, you can yell at me. It's like the military. I'm not going to immediately have a rebuttal immediately. And sometimes it takes me a while to react to something. I didn't react to him that night, but I remember the next day I go in and I was like, I need to talk to you. And another manager was in that room and he was like, nah, you stay in here, because the other manager was about to leave. And I was like, the way you yelled at me, I didn't appreciate that. I come in here day in and day out. I always make sure I show up on time. I'm doing what's asked of me if you need me to pick up the pace or whatever. And then he was like, well, you just got to get out of your bubble. Like, you just got to get out of your bubble. I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? As if like, hey, if you see something outside of where you work, take the initiative to go ahead and grab this. I can get that, and I respect that, as if, hey, if you see something on the opposite registers that's on the ground, just do like a routinely, like, just check around. And I was like, why didn't you just say that in the first place? Versus all this, because you made me feel like I wasn't appreciated. And then after that interview, or after we had that talk, I remember we had like our quarterly meeting, and he mentioned that incident. And then after that, it was the, hey, how you doing? Like, yeah, punching me on my arm. And it's like, wow. So the moment I do all this, you respect me. But prior to that, you couldn't have just respected me for just being myself. I remember one time going to college, first day, and you are being introduced to several different students. They ask you to do a project where you basically kind of go around, ask each other questions. And this one girl I asked, she was about my age at that time. And we were talking about living circumstances. And I was like, I still live with my parents and I'm 18. She just started laughing out of nowhere. And she was like, well, I've been in my house since I was like 16. But at first hearing it back then, you don't understand it. But then looking at things now, her background and her way of living was different to what mine was. It doesn't make mine better than hers or vice versa or anything. Where the issues of right and wrong is when you judge somebody for their background, or to think, well, because I grew up like this, as if like, wow, you a cornball, or you this, or you that, or, I trust me when I tell you, I've been teased for a lot of things. And I even had former friends and stuff who didn't think what I did would pan out. And then they offering free help. My point of saying all this is to say is be yourself. Continue to trailblaze, do everything and anything that you can to achieve both your happiness, your goals, and your dreams. Do not let nobody stop you. Do not let your previous and or bad experiences keep you from living your life to the fullest, because if you do, you'll always wonder what could have been, where you could have been in your life. I had an incident, and actually I had one time trying to impress a girl. I sat there and cut my hair, and was one of the worst things you could do, because then after that, I remember it was, well, let's get you an earring, let's do this, let's do that. And it's like, I see the mold of what that person was trying to do, or having me to try to be, to fit this mold, to make it appropriate to date or to deal with. No. And that's another thing to anybody. If you're dating, don't try to be, you see all this stuff all the time, like the Giga Chads, the Sigmas, the Alphas, all that. Be yourself. If it's meant for you to be with that person in particular, then it's meant for you to be with that person in particular. But don't go out of your way to either be a douchebag or anything else, just so that you can, for the sake of your own mental, say, yeah, I got one, or yeah, I'm with this person. Because then you're dead on the inside. You don't have nothing. You're hollow. On one hand, on the outside, you look like you have all these things, but on the inside, you don't feel complete. You don't feel fulfilled. You're not really happy. Truth be told, I could definitely thank some people too, including like my mom and several people, because like there were people who knew I was a gamer. Even my martial arts instructor called me a nerd. he called me. Yeah, he called me a nerd. I'm just gonna leave it where that was. But it was all respectful. It's just for the sake of. But anyway, I wasn't like that when I first came to the martial arts gym. I was very quiet. I was very reserved. Cause no, it's like, and he even mentioned that, it's like, I feel like, you don't feel like you're at home. So you don't. Sometimes you don't feel at home, or maybe you're working here. People look at you a certain way. You're going to school here. Maybe you're even experiencing stuff at home, so it feels like no matter where you go, it feels like its own living version of a hell. You don't feel at peace at somewhere. But I tell y'all to try to find that inner peace within you, and take something from this, because they even said, like, yeah, like I said, based off of his preference. So it's like, it's still a dig. Even that ending, it was still a dig, but it's like, who really won right there. That's why he could exude that much or show that much confidence, because it's like, it's not just him just talking it, it's facts. Like, and people was bragging on him or getting on him because he was living with his parents even in his 30s. And look at where he's at today. Look at what he's able to do for his parents. It just goes to show to me, like, anything is possible. There is no certain rigid way of how life or living needs to be done. With that being said, you can't control your upbringing. You can't control how you grew up, how you know, who you grew up around, but you do control the overall outcome and how you progress from those moments and in those situations going forward. So I always consider that, and you never know who you're going to run into. You never know what that person is or what they've been through. So try to show them respect. You don't have to like, you don't have to agree with anything. Just like I tell everybody here in the comments, you ain't got to agree with everything I say. Even like with this video, if anybody has some comments on it, you know, hey, I'm willing to keep the conversation open, but respect it within the bounds of good taste. Anything past that, you already know what I'm going to do to the comments. But guys, what did you think on this video? What did you think of my critique on it? What did you think of the reaction as a whole? If you liked it, please smash that like button for your boy. Don't forget to subscribe to your boy at Heemscast Gaming. Share the video, share the channel, and don't forget to drop them comments below with suggestions on the next reaction videos. To everybody, it's your boy Heemscast Gaming signing out. I'll see you guys soon with more content to everybody out there. Peace till the next videos and streams.